Yeah, Coach, just kind of wanted to get your initial thoughts of facing Duke in the Military Bowl, and I know head coach Mike Elko had been at Texas A&M for a few years, and I know you faced him at your previous stop. Just kind of wanted to get your initial thoughts about the matchup.
Yeah, I've always been impressed with him as a coach, and like you said, we went against each other, against his defense, and he was really good. Did a super job with that. Familiar with a couple guys on the staff, so they had an outstanding year, and even their losses were extremely close. So he's done a super job. I think he was the coach of the year in the conference, which is well deserved.
Coach, I'm just curious, how much did you guys want to play a Power Five program? Was that like something you made clear to when you were choosing the bowl? I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's always great. Obviously, playing a team like them is really really good, and they had an outstanding season. So we're looking forward to it.
Coach, how much was the team kind of, just kind of banged up and beaten down this latter half of the season? And how good will it be to have a little bit of a break to kind of heal up some of those bumps and bruises with about 4+ weeks until this upcoming game?
Yeah, there was a couple key guys that were banged up, obviously, last night. But hey, you got to give Tulane credit. I mean, they played really well, and but it is good that we've got a couple weeks. Obviously, John Rice to heal up. That's going to be real important for us. But we're going to finish finals this week. Next week we'll give them a lot of time off, and then we'll get back on a routine, and that'll also help us recruit. Which you go to a championship game, you get behind a little bit recruiting. So we've got to really do a good job catching up these next 2 weeks.
Coach, the transfer portal opens tomorrow. There's, players who may sit out the bowl, whatever it may be. Are you worried that your roster or some of your players, your roster might look different come bowl game?
I think every program in college football is going to have some kind of attrition or some things like that. We'll just we'll adjust if needed and be ready to go. So we'll have enough players ready for playing the bowl game, and they'll be really excited about it.
Coach, obviously the red shirt is off for Thomas Castellanos. You said last night that you'll have a plan for him for the bowl game. Can you kind of share what that might be, and how good will it be to kind of get him in rhythm with some practices if he knows he's going to be playing in a game?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. First of all, I'm so proud of Thomas. I mean, we put him in a tough spot. He's going to be a phenomenal quarterback, and getting him the reps in practice for this long is going to be real important. And like I said, I mean, he has his red shirt behind him, and so hey, we'll be ready, and whatever that means. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what the plan is, but he'll be ready to go, and hopefully we can get him in there in some ways.
Obviously, because Thomas burned his red shirt because Mikey Keene wasn't able to play or didn't choose to play, I guess. He announced his intentions to enter the transfer portal. Just what's your reaction to that? Obviously, I don't think it's a surprise exactly for you, but what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, we knew it was coming. Me and Mikey, we've had a lot of conversations and all that. We wish him nothing but the best. We appreciate everything he's done since he's been here. He did a whole lot for us, and like I said last night after the game, we wouldn't have been in that championship game without him. So we wish him nothing but the best moving forward, and hopefully he'll find a spot and really be very successful.
Coach, how difficult was that during the season, knowing you really only had one quarterback, that you didn't have to worry about games played? You knew you used up Tommy's 4 games earlier in the season. Was that just a difficult thing in the back of your mind, knowing that you didn't have, I guess, typical depth at the quarterback position?
Yeah, we're in the new age of college football, and you just got to adjust, like I've said before. And the fact that we had, 3 quarterbacks on scholarship, and we thought it could come down to something like that. You just never know, what happens. And we needed Mikey, obviously, that game before South Florida. He came in and did a really good job and helped us win the game.
What's kind of been the mood of the team today when you guys got back last night? I mean, team meeting or anything going on like that? What's kind of been the mood, I guess?
Yeah, we had team meeting and player meetings and all that. I mean, obviously, when you lose a championship game, it's tough and it stings, and it should. But I think when we can remove ourselves, we'll look back and have a lot of things we can be proud of that we made it the championship game. We came up a little short, but now we got to move forward with a bowl, and we got some time off, which I think is good, and gear up for a really good Duke team that's had an outstanding season.
Coach, and they said you're going to pick up more of the bowl practices, next week. But what's this week going to be like for you? You alluded to it earlier with recruiting. Are you going to be all over the place recruiting? I know with transfer portal, high school. What's your schedule going to be like the next few days?
Yeah, we're playing catch up because of last week getting a little behind. But it's 24/7 from here on out. And the thing nowadays, you got to make such quick decisions, compared to the old days and all that. So we just need to do a super job with our quick evaluation, make real solid decisions, whatever it is. So as far as my schedule is, I'm going to do my best to see all of our, high school commits and then transfers as they come if needed. Like I said, I think my big thing is just being flexible the next 2 weeks.
Coach, I'm curious what you guys play a lot of young guys, obviously, but what can the bowl practices do for a team and some of the younger guys on your team that maybe haven't played as much this year?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's always great to go to a bowl because you get extra practice, and usually there's a transition period. Usually the first couple are developing your young guys. A lot of them improve so much just being on the scout team or whatever. And it's always good to see them play. And then you start kind of getting your routine for your opponent. And, we're playing on the 28th. And so we'll have some practices before. I'll give them a couple of days pre-Christmas. And I think we have to leave out of here on Christmas morning. So things will be happening pretty quick.
Coach, how do you think your guys will enjoy the bowl experience? I mean, there's always different places you can go, but this is a unique setting. The game's in Annapolis, but you're going to be staying in Washington, D.C., nation's capital. How do you think your guys will enjoy that experience?
Yeah, I think that's very unique, like you said. I think they'll really like that. I know our coaching staff will too. So we've heard nothing but great things about the bowl.
Coach, what do you need to see from your defense over these bowl practices to prepare for that bowl? And what do you want to see them as they close out the season in the bowl game?
Yeah, we really started out the season really strong. And, of course, the last half wasn't as strong. And, obviously, yesterday wasn't our standard at all. So just got to regroup, retool. We'll get some guys healthier, and we'll go in this bowl, and we'll play some good, sound defense.
Can you talk a little bit more again about John Rice Plumlee and just how he sacrificed his body time and time again these past few weeks and even yesterday going back in the game? I mean, we saw him come up to the press conference. He could barely get up on that podium to walk. Just talk about how he gutted everything out.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, he's earned everybody's respect. He's a tough guy. He's as tough a guy as I probably coached. For him to go back in the game and compete, and you're exactly right. I mean, he's beat up pretty good right now, but he did it for his team. And he's a really, really good player, and it really sets up good not only for this bowl game for next year. Him being one of our leaders.
Coach, you mentioned it last night. Obviously, last year's bowl game gave you some momentum. What can this bowl game serve for you guys as you go into the Big 12 next season?
Yeah, if we can win, it'll be just the same. I mean, anytime you play a bowl and you win, it gives you momentum from recruiting, just from everything around going into spring and just everything. And then for us, I mean, it'll be our 10th win if we win. And that's a really big deal. I think we've done it 7 times in school history, as we talked to our players about. That's real important too, to be able to do that and send these seniors off the right way.
Coach, you just mentioned John Rice Plumlee in next season. So he's made it clear to you that he wants to come back. I know he has baseball considerations and everything else, but you've had that conversation with him that he's definitely planning on coming back for another season.
Yeah, and I mean he'll I would expect him to. I know he'll probably make an announcement of his own, but I would expect him to. We coming in, he wanted to play baseball, and we're definitely going to honor that. But I would like our chances, but I'll let him tell you at the right time.
If he does come back and decide to, how does that impact your quarterback room in the future? And Thomas, and I know you have a couple guys high school signed, and Timmy McLean's on the scout team, but how does that impact your quarterback room if John Rice does come back?
Yeah, I think we're in good shape. I mean, our plan will be to have 4 quarterbacks on scholarship, and I think we'll be in a really good spot.
Coach, we appreciate you joining us.
Okay.
We'll see you up in Washington.
Hey, Coach. See you soon.
Okay. Now we've got Military Bowl President and Executive Director Steve Beck on the line. Also, Steve, do you want me a quick opening statement, take some questions?
Yeah, well, we just wanted to start off by saying how excited we are to finally get back to a bowl game, after being off for 2 years. And We played the game now at Navy Marine Corps Stadium since 2013 and sold out for it in the last 6 years, and hope to have a good crowd this year. We know we're gonna have a good game. You know, very good Duke team and a very good UCF team, so it should be a very, competitive matchup. Ticket, parking, and hotel information you can obviously get at militarybowl.org. And we're a little unique, as you mentioned. The teams do stay several days in Washington D.C. and get to see a lot of what's going on in malls and monuments and tours and that kind of stuff. A lot of kids that have been in the past, haven't had the opportunity to even be in D.C. before. So it's a real great experience for them. And then we have a great couple of days in downtown Annapolis also. We have the day before military. We'll have the Military Bowl. It's called Miracle on West Street, where we'll have the Budweiser Clydesdales there. Sort of a street festival. It'll be thousands of people. And Annapolis is such a great town for a bowl. I mean, you can walk everywhere, and there's bars and restaurants and shops all around. So we look forward to that. And then day of the game, we'll also have like pub crawls and that kind of stuff going on too. And then the day of the game, we started with our Military Bowl parade at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the tailgate starts at 10 o'clock also. And the parade basically is led by the Budweiser Clydesdales and lead us up into the game. And also in the parade, and what we'll be honoring throughout the day is we'll have 10 Medal of Honor recipients, which is the nation's highest military decoration, and their bravery and their stories are just simply amazing. And we also benefit USO, and they'll be there with their different activities that they're helping us with, and the pregame military festivities and the giant flag and the flyover. And then we also, another part of what makes us a little unique is we own a property called Patriot Point. If you go to patriotpoint.org and check us out, it's a retreat center for our nation's wounded, ill, and injured, their caregivers and families. And it's a spectacular place. We've totally remodeled it. We had over 49 retreats last year. And really, if you get the opportunity to see what we got going on down at that place, it's really something truly special. So really, that's about it. We're excited for a great matchup. Duke obviously had a great year, got a nice young quarterback. They finished one game out of the AAC Championship. And of course, UCF was in the American Conference Championship, and a few plays here and there might have gone a little bit different, but they played a good team, had a good opponent, and we just look forward to game day. So if anybody has any questions, we're more than happy to answer.
Steve, I'll ask you a quick question. Obviously, you just mentioned, all the teams stay in Washington, D.C. I don't know if the schedules have been finalized, but can you share some of the, example of what some of the team activities, what they might be able to see and do when they're in our nation's capital?
Yeah, so they'll arrive. We'll have a welcome reception for them. I think that UCF is probably going to come up on Christmas Day. I'm not sure of their schedule yet, but we do a pack for troops with the USO. So we pack up well over 1,000 packs that we send overseas to the troops. They do a mall and monument tour. They go to the Museum of African American History and Culture, have a private tour there. We also have an event at Pinstripes, which is a bowling and food and all that kind of fun. And we have a wives event where we have some painting going on, at a restaurant, and it's very festive. A lot of great stuff going on. Believe me, the kids will have a great time visiting Washington D.C.
Hey, Steve, quick question on UCF. How exciting is it for the bowl to get a team that's never played in the Military Bowl before?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, we just want people to come up north and don't be afraid. Come up to the greatest city in the world and enjoy a great little small town where we got a lot of activity there too. So, and it's really exciting. Also, this is our last chance to get them. I mean, they're off to the Big 12, so at least in this cycle, it's our last chance to get them. You never know what might happen down the road, but I'm excited for Gus. To go to this next level and take the Knights, into the new conference. But they've had a great run, and obviously they've been up here, played Navy a couple times, so they're very familiar with the area and the stadium. Okay, guys, thanks very much. Let me know if you need anything else.